Hi, boys and girls. It's Mrs. White. I have an activity for you to do when you're not with me today in our Google Meet. So before we start doing our first grade math, like I told you, there's a couple things that we need to review or to go over. Now, I know that all of you know your numbers 1 through 5, so I'm not going to ask you if you know those numbers, but what I think we need to talk about is how many different ways we can show that number. So what I have for you today, you have 5 slides, or imagine them like 5 papers, and each of them have a giant number on them. So if you look at this one right here where Mrs. White is circling with the arrow, I see a giant number 1. Now down here we have some boxes. We have to decide if those boxes are showing the number 1 or if they are not showing the number 1. Now, we learned a couple of ways in kindergarten that we could show 1 or other numbers. We can write the number. We could write the number as a word, and a lot of those number words were our sight words, right? We can show the numbers with our fingers. We can count up a certain number of objects. We can use something like a dice or cards to show numbers. Or we can use our tens frame. Do you remember your tens frame and how to show numbers on that? Let's look. We're going to do the first one together, and then you will be responsible for doing 2, 3, 4, and 5. So for the number 1, I'm looking at my first box. I see the number 1. So I'm going to take it, I'm going to drag into a box because I think that's a way to show 1. All right, let's see. How many crayons are in this picture? I think it's 1 again. Now here we have a die. Or a dice. So I count how many dots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not going to move that onto my 1 because I don't think that's a way to show 1. I see here a first grader's hand, and how many fingers are they holding up? 1 finger. So I would move this. This is a way to show 1. Okay, let's go down here. How many crayons do I see? 1, 2, 3. That's not a way to show 1. I see a tens frame, and I see 1 chip on my tens frame. So I'm going to put this here because I think that's a way to show 1. Here's another first grade hand. How many fingers are they holding up? 1, 2, 3. I don't think this is the right slide for that first grade hand. Then I see a word here, and this word has 3 letters, O-N-E, and I remember that that word is 1. So I know that 1 is way to show 1. All 5 of my boxes are filled with ways to show 1. Now I'm ready to go on to the number 2 and to select the 5 boxes that show ways that we can show the number 2.